second? Motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Karski.
Aye.
Barth. Aye. Bender.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. All right, so that takes us to consent agenda. The consent agenda is used for routine items by one motion. I'd entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So, second Karski.
So we have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Barth. Aye. Karski.
Aye.
Bender.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. All right, so this is our opportunity for public comment. If you're here today for public comment, this is your opportunity to speak. Good morning.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Stephen Ciano. I've spoken over here previously, as well as having spoken to City Council. And I found that in both cases, the way that the video was edited deleted certain key points, including one of the city sessions that I understand was, my presence was deleted entirely. When I read a letter that I had sent to that body, the City Council email. Well, I'm a disabled veteran, and I got heart and breathing and bone and, and various problems. Don't sleep well, so it's hard for me to come across clearly. And I did want to be clear that I am disabled and have had problems with getting the help that I need. There's been some obstacles, and a lot of it has to do with the lack of transparency in the medical industry and mental health industry as well. I got Asperger's and PTSD. I've been disabled with the latter two since '78, and that's proven. I finally got it acknowledged by the VA, which was resistant to that. And I hear of certain things like recently, see, every level of government, same stuff happens as I see it. I've experienced it, I've watched it, I've observed, I have studied. And people in positions such as yours are generally beholden to big business and not responsive to the public as the public needs, and which is your actual arguable responsibility to serve the public. I have been greatly disappointed. I don't know how much longer I may be on this plane with you. It gets sketchy at times. And like, as I said last time, this walker was equipped with the oxygen tank. I've since pulled it off, and there it is so you all can see. Certainly I'm able to lift that, but I have a hard time standing and catch my breath. Yeah. Various things that once upon a time used to be simple. But I hear of, there was this statewide Amendment C, which was mostly about raising taxes. And I consider myself liberal and conservative both. I believe everyone has a right to do whatever they want. However, that doesn't extend to where it interferes with the next person. And raising taxes just takes more money out of our pockets. That's not a good thing. And I hear somebody's talking about Medicaid expansion. I'm like, for what? So that the medical industry is gonna benefit? Hey, we recently got through this big medical hoax about COVID-19. Like, the hoax was not that there was existent a virus that could kill some, but how much a threat it was and what was the proper action. Even the CDC has, and I guess Fauci has changed their tune on that to expose. And now that we've had the presidents, the former presidents, perhaps proper presidents, home invaded by FBI, that, I don't know why the Secret Service allowed them in if they have a warrant that, as I understand it, was just too broad to be legitimate, to actually appear legitimate. You can't just, power of the government, working for big business. That scares me even more. I hope that I'm gonna be able to get my needs met in the future, and I was able to come here, spur of the moment, when I was able to hitch a ride, because I've been assaulted on the public transit, which is actually private, so they have a right to do whatever they want. And that was over the mask mandate. So that's enough. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else here this morning for public comment? All right, I don't see anybody else moving towards the podium. So that takes us to regular business. First item on regular business is a public hearing to consider the 2022 Burn JAG Program Joint Spending Plan. Captain Bosman, good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Joe Bosman, Minnehaha County Sheriff's Office. This morning we have in front of you a request for a public hearing that was posted a few weeks ago as part of a spending plan that we are putting in for with the Justice Assistance Grant Program. It's a federal program that allocates money to the city of Sioux Falls, and Minnehaha County is a subrecipient of that agreement. There's a total of $156,384 allocated between the two agencies. We have a spending plan in place on what we anticipate using the money for. The spending plan has been on file at the auditor's office for public viewing since July 26th. Part of the requirement for the spending plan, grant program, I should say, is that we have a period of public comment opportunity for those who would like to discuss, question, comment on any of the spending plan. So this is the format and the place and time that we would open up for anybody who has a public comment.
So moved, Karski.
All right, so you had a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Karski.
Aye.
Barth. Bender.
Aye, motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming. All right, that takes us to item 11. Consider a motion to approve extending the COVID sick leave through December 23rd, 2022. Good morning, Carrie.
Good morning, Carrie Deaver from Human Resources. I'm sure you recall that in January you passed a COVID sick leave benefit for staff. We were experiencing a spike since then. Although we did have a decline, that benefit's been extended a couple of times. In July, we've had, of course, another increase. So we're asking for your approval to extend this benefit through the end of the year.
Are there any questions for Carrie? All right, if
I'd
not,
move to approve the plan.
we have a motion. Do we have a second? Yes, you do. Thank you, Commissioner Barth. So we have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Karski.
Aye.
Barth. Bender.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much. All right, that takes us to item 12, which is to consider a resolution to declare certain mobile home distress warrants for unpaid property taxes as uncollectible. Chris Swanson, good
Hi,
morning.
Chris Swanson, Minnehaha County Treasurer. So submitted for your review are the uncollectible distress warrants that were returned by the Sheriff's Office in 2022. Yep, they're up there for you to see. And what we are asking is that the County Commissioners would declare certain mobile home distress warrants for unpaid property taxes deemed uncollectible.
All right, are there any questions for the treasurer? Quite a list presented. Most of them are mobile homes that have been removed or destroyed.
Yep.
If there are no questions, I'd entertain a motion.
So moved to approve.
So I have a motion And a second. Great. Roll call vote, please.
Karski.
Aye.
Barth. Bender.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much. So that takes us to item 13, which is an annual review of the Minnehaha County investment policy.
Yes. So the Minnehaha County Commission adopted the current investment policy back in December of 2007. The policy was a result of recommendations by the Investment Policy Review Committee, which you see on your memo right there. It was last presented back in July of 2016. What we are approving today is a revised of what was put in the drop box. We are eliminating a reference to a statute that dealt with bank collateralization. And however, this will not affect how we proceed with soliciting quotes for our CDs.
All right, thank you. So this is a review, annual review that's required by the policy. It just is listed as a review. Are we looking for a motion to approve the policy as revised?
Madam Chair, I have a question.
Commissioner Karski, go.
Chris, this policy goes back to 2007, so 15 years. The amount of money and that type of thing, have we really, is it time to revisit this policy and look at it and talk about it some more?
Well, I'm going to actually have Cindy come up. We're going to visit Cindy. Cindy is our assistant treasurer, and so we've been looking at this closely together. And so maybe you can even shed a little bit more light on this too.
Yeah, Cindy Jepson from the Treasurer's Office. The county is only able to invest money in certain areas as according to state statute. And this investment policy lists those areas that we can put our money into. And right now we are invested into CDs and a money market. I can let you know that this year, with our new investments, when CDs came due, since the interest rate has greatly increased, we are on schedule to receive $126,956 in investment revenue. And that is in comparison to a year ago, where the total was $13,600. So by looking at these CDs, when they come due, some of them we have for 6 months, and some of those we have for a year. And we kind of looked at what the feds were going to be doing with interest rates, and we held off on reinvesting the $5 million CD, which came due in February, until we could yield a better interest rate on that. And that one CD alone is on target to earn $70,500 in this year, as in comparison to last year was $8,000. So we are really kind of studying that market. Of course, you know, we're not investment brokers, and we just kind of go by what we receive from the banks. We solicit quotes from probably 5 different banks in the state of South Dakota, and we go with what the best interest rate quote that they give us, and that's how we have determined what our investments are. But as far as the policy review, of course, you're always, you know, able to put together another review board to take a look at this. But we do invest our money according to South Dakota state statute.
And I agree, we shouldn't be playing in the market.
Yeah.
Say with taxpayer dollars, and I'm just curious how often we do shop that late.
Yeah,
Yep.
right.
I apologize. I agree, we shouldn't be playing in the market, but I was just curious how often we, you know, go out and re-look at those things, and is it?
Right now, our CDs are at 6 months or 12 month. Those are the terms that we have on the CDs. So when they come due is when we solicit new interest rate quotes. And like I said, we kind of took a look when the ones came due earlier this year, like that $5 million, and kind of, do we want to invest in another 12-month CD? And at that point, we did solicit bids, but even banks did not want to give us an interest rate quote at that time because they had no idea where the market was going to be. And so that's why we put that money into our checking account, which did earn a small amount of interest until we saw that the market was more favorable in their rate on their interest.
So Chris, this policy, does it require you to do this at a certain frequency, or is this kind of up to whoever's in the treasurer's seat at the time to say, you know, I really should look at this?
To review the actual policy, you mean?
No, to where the money's put.
I guess, I don't know if we need to review that or not. I think we do a pretty good job of, is that what you're asking me? We do a pretty good job, I think, of collaborating and.
Well, the money is put wherever we get the highest
Right,
interest rate.
And I know,
That's what determines
yeah.
where we put the money.
And like Cindy said, we got a lot of, I mean, some banks didn't even want to touch us for the most part, but, so we were pretty fortunate to get what we got. So I don't know. I just think,
I guess my
doing
question,
okay.
it really comes down to whoever the treasurer is and how active they want to be
Yep.
versus one that might sit back and just kind of let it roll over every time. I mean, is you take an active
Roll in
approach
it.
to
yep,
managing this?
Yep, yes.
Okay, thank you.
yes.
And I think I just would follow up on that question, you know, in a rising interest rate environment like we're in right now, you know, are you using any professional consultants for setting up, like laddering our investments or something so that we maximize our opportunities during this rising interest rate environment?
Currently, no.
No, currently, no. We did speak with Jeff Schaefer.
Yep.
And
With the Department of Legislative Audit?
from
Correct.
legislative audit. And, you know, he took a look at our investment policy and what we were doing and, you know, I guess
He was
didn't-
pleased with it.
well,
He thought it
yes,
was-
He
yeah.
didn't give us any,
Indication that needed to be changed.
right, indication that we, you know, needed to pay an investment firm to do, because statute really does determine how we invest our money. And so that's what we follow.
I think you guys have given good examples of how much the difference in an interest rate can make in our investments. You know, it's real money to taxpayers. And so, I don't know, I would encourage you to maybe gather a group that you can, you know, consult. I think there'd be citizens that would be willing to do that, maybe as an advisory council. A lot of large nonprofit organizations utilize that sort of
Sure.
guidance, just because, you know, this is a situation where we have an opportunity to maximize the return for our taxpayers, and we should probably be doing everything we can to do that.
Madam Chair?
Commissioner Harsky.
And thank you for kind of driving the car to where I was trying to go with what I was trying to say there. Thank you. Because yes, I mean, the policy says where we can invest it, but how often and how well it's, you know, done. And,
Understood.
you know, the more people involved typically are having a good qualified team of saying, should we ladder our investments? How should we be structuring this, and having a more active role to do it, not for you, but for the position itself, just to, you know, part of the policy.
So with that being said, what are you asking? How many people do you want us to be on board with this, as far as working with us in investment?
Well, I mean, ultimately, it's your responsibility as treasurer, but I think that maybe it would be something you could investigate,
Okay.
and, you know, feel free to reach out to us or report back to us what you come up with. I don't know that there's a magic number. I just think that we're just suggesting that, as all of us do, if we can, we try to get the best possible advice so that we make the best possible decisions.
Very good.
How much money are we talking about here?
Just in our CDs and 13 million. It's a little bit.
There's a total of 13 million that's kind of managed through this policy right at this
Yeah.
point? Okay.
All right, so I think you guys are looking for a motion to approve the policy as amended.
Correct.
I would make that motion.
Commissioner Barth? Yeah, there wasn't a requirement that they report back a certain amount of time. We just were suggesting that they try to put together a group of advisors, and that they would maybe come back and let us know if they make any different decisions. Did you have something in particular you wanted to see, Commissioner Barth?
No, thank you, Madam Chair. I think we originally required it on an annual basis, just an update of how we were doing relative to Clinton, but I'm happy with this way. So I'll make you need a motion, I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you. So we have a motion. Do we have a second? Motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Barth. Karski.
Aye.
Bender.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. All right, so that takes us to item 14, which is authorize the chair to sign an agreement with Medicaid Institute to provide psychiatric services at the JDC. Nate Allen, good morning.
Hi, I'm Nate Ellens with the Minnehaha County Juvenile Detention Center, and we are looking to enter into a contract with Midwest Wellness Institute to provide psychiatric medical directorship at JDC. This has been an ongoing issue at JDC that we're looking to address. We have an increased number of youth with mental health issues and medication for those mental health diagnoses. As we speak right now, we have about 33 youth, and about 19 of them are on at least one psychiatric medication, some up to 5. And one of the challenges that we run into currently is we have youth that are coming in with no medication, or we have youth that are coming in from another placement, and their doctor is no longer authorizing those meds. And so with this partnership, it would allow us to have ongoing continued needed meds for the youth within our facility. The contract itself, there was one change, and that is in Article 522. There is a line that starts with upon 60 days written notice, and the contract amendment would remove anything beyond that. So it would just say upon 60 days written notice instead of which shall include in all the items beyond that.
All right. Any questions for Nate this morning? Commissioner Barth, I want to make sure I give you a chance. Did you have any questions?
No, thank you.
All right, thank you. Well, I appreciate you bringing this forward. We know, and from reports that we've been getting, how significantly mental health impacts the juveniles that you deal with. And so I think that this is a great way for us to utilize some of the ARPA funds that we have. I'd be interested in a motion approving the contract as amended, as Nate indicated.
Moved.
The motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Karski.
Aye.
Barth.
Aye.
Bender.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. All right, so that takes us to item 15, which is to consider a motion to appoint Madeline Miller to the Housing and Redevelopment Commission. Tyler, good morning.
Good morning, Tyler Klatt, Commission Office. The Housing and Redevelopment Commission is comprised of 5 members, including their Commissioner Liaison. They provide oversight of the physical structure of Safe Home. In early 2022, we had a commission position vacated. A public call for applicants was released in May of 2022, and we ended up with 1 applicant. The applicant for your consideration is Madeline Miller. This position was vacated, so the appointment would be for a 2-year term expiring in July of 2024. Her application and a resume is included in your materials, and she is here today if you have any questions for her.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for applying. We very much appreciate it. Are there any questions for Madeline?
Madam Chair, I've known Maddie through work at the Link, and I think she's extremely well qualified and her quite an impressive resume. So I would make a motion to approve or to authorize you to sign the to appoint Maddie.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
There is a second.
Thank you very much. Motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Karski.
Aye.
Barth.
Aye.
Bender.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. That takes us to item 16, which is to consider a resolution for a refund on a payment made in error to satisfy DPNO 10027. Melinda Storley, good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. So Stewart Title submitted a request for a refund. Their client sold a home, and during the title search, they had transferred information based on a lien that existed previously. And I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Anyway, so at closing, they went ahead and set the money aside in escrow and then paid the lien off. The lien does not belong to Stewart Title's client, it belongs to another individual with the same first and last name. That's where the confusion occurred. There was a challenge to the lien prior to closing, but somehow there wasn't enough follow-through to determine that it was not the client's lien. And so here we are today. They're asking if you would consider a refund for that payment made in error on that lien. If you do approve that, the refund, the money will be, the balance of $2,235.70 will be restored to lien DPNO 10027 with a compromise adjustment code of 610. And then against the individual's name on the lien, who are not related to Stewart Title's client. There's no connection in any way by marriage or divorce or anything like that.
All right, well, as always, I really appreciate all the work you do on this. You write excellent memos, and you go into undercover cop mode. You do a really great job sleuthing out people and making sure that we've got Social Security numbers and identification clearly established. So with that, are there any questions? Commissioner Karski.
This is a lien that goes back 47 plus years. Is it correct individual still even?
No, actually, he's not even been in the state. He's been living in outside of South Dakota since 1987 at least.
So the adjustment code 610, does that mean it goes away if
That's just a code that the auditor's office had given me to record, for the Register of Deeds to record this refund in. So it's not specific to that lien in any way other than it's for documenting that this was restored.
So the lien stays intact?
It will stay intact in the
Just
name of the
fixing
two
mistake.
individuals, yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions for Melinda? If not, I'd entertain a motion.
If I may, Madam Chair.
Commissioner
again,
Karski.
I'm going to make a motion to refund the payment made in error with comments after a second.
I'll second that.
So we have a motion and a second. Commissioner Karski.
We got the money by mistake. Somebody sold a property and there was a mistake made and they get their check, their proceeds, and they say, hey, it's missing a couple thousand. This really isn't our money, and the right thing to do is, in my mind, to refund it.
All right, I agree. Any other questions? Commissioner Barth, do you have any questions? I guess not. All right, so we have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Karski.
Aye.
Benega.
Aye.
Barth. Bender.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
very much.
All right, that takes us to Commissioner Liaison reports. Are there any liaison reports this morning? All the commissioners start trying to think, what have I done in the blur of the last 2 weeks? A lot, no doubt. Okay, no liaison reports. All right, any non-action commission discussion items? All right, seeing none, I'd entertain a motion for recess until 9:55.
That would be my motion.
A motion?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming, everyone, this morning.